Hey, what's up guys, Ravenclaw here and welcome back to another video here on the Ravenclaw channel, and today we are going over the Survival Hunter PvP guide for BFA. So there's a lot to get through, let's get to it. Okay guys, let's have a look at some talents. Now, in the first tier I take Viper's Venom. This procs quite frequently and it does a lot of damage. It's just great having something that's more sustainable in your DPS rotation when it comes to PvP. However, Alpha Predator is another good choice to take. I've found that the kill command rotation, which we'll talk about later, works quite well at the moment, even without having the two charges. Yes, it does 30% increased damage, but I have found Viper's Venom to be the leader of the three. In the next tier, I only take Guerrilla Tactics. Having that 2 extra charges of your Wildfire Bomb is just amazing. And also it does 100% increased damage on its initial explosion. This is great for our burst potential as survival hunters. In the next tier, this is situational. I normally take Natural Mending when I'm in, say, 2s and 3s. More so if I know that the fight's going to be a longer fight. However, if you do take Camouflage, it's best if you're going, say, double DPS in 2s. Great for 1v1s where you can just feign death, get into Camouflage, and get that health back up. Even saying that, even 3v3, if you know that the you want to, say if you're going with, say, like Thug Cleave and you want to get that opener, this is the best talent to take. In the next tier, I still stick with Murder of Crows. It's just such a good damage over time ability to have as a survival hunter. Great for our sustainability when it comes to our damage overall. Some people are going with Bloodseeker to put that bleed on the target. I still found that a Murder of Crows leads in comparison to the others. Okay, in the next tier, this is situational. If I know I'm going up on a sort of like a melee cleave, like say Turbo Cleave or whatnot, I do tend to take Binding Shot. However, I still found Post Haste to be better for your, say, your 2v2s, your 1v1s and things like that, just to get out of those get out of those roots and stuff as a great gap closer, or to get yourself out of trouble if you need to peel back and reset. Once again, Binding Shot is no longer a stun, it is a root, so it is up to you how you would like to take these. Okay, next here, Mongoose Bite leads the way with these 3 here. Flanking Strike isn't as good as it used to be, and Tip of the Spear isn't that beneficial for us in a PvP situation. I found that Mongoose Bite is actually quite nice. It is way more manageable than it used to be before the whole change to BFA. Plus, if you're good at monitoring your stacks and weaving, say, Mongoose Bite in with your kill command, this will definitely be your damage dealer. Okay, in the last tier, I'm going to take Wildfire Infusion. This is the best talent I've found out of the 3. Having the 3 different types of grenades is such an important thing to have. You have so much more sustainability when it comes to damage because of the different types of bombs you have, and if you track them well, you can really do a lot of damage when you are bursting down a target. Alright guys, let's have a look at our PvP talents. Let's just go down the list and have a chat about each to see which one you might like to take. Now, Roar of Sacrifice is the one I always take. It's just so good at stopping that hard-hitting burst damage that is coming towards either you or your partner. It's just too valuable to not have. Diamond Dice you could take if you're with, say, a very heavy AoE sort of comp. Say if you're with like a Boomkin or, say a rogue spreading his bleeds around. This you can use if you need to get that trap to be able to not have it broken. High Explosive Trap is also good if, you see a team standing within like a Spirit Link or anything like that. Possibly even to knock people off a bridge. Very situational. You can sort of choose your time to take this one. Survival Tactics is absolutely wicked. It is great for those, if you say you're going to see like a Chaos Bolt coming toward your face, or you've got, say, Touch of Death on you, and you can feign death just at that last moment when that, before it does its huge damage, and it will pretty much nullify the whole thing. It is absolutely awesome to have a little bit more focus involved in this to make sure you use it at the right time, but it is definitely a viable talent to take. Spider Sting is great for those, if you're going up against, say, a Shadow Priest and Mage and whatnot. one to be taking to stop them at those vital moments, because it will silence the target. Mending bandages is awesome for duels, because it will, especially if you're going against a rogue and whatnot, it'll get rid of all those bleeds. Plus, if you can get the chance, you can actually bandage yourself back up. Plus, then you can feign death into camo to get extra health. You can, however, take it in, say, a 3v3 situation, possibly 2v2, it's up to you. If you are going against, say, like Feral or a rogue or whatnot, to just get rid of those bleeds off yourself or your partners. And Tracker's Net, absolutely awesome for closing those gaps. Locking down a target cannot be dispelled, which is amazing. Especially if you need to land a trap, you can use Tracker's Net into a trap if you don't have a team member able to, help you lock down a target. Also, it is great for peeling for your healer or your other teammates as well. Alright guys, now let's have a look at our gear. Now, this gear that I've got is the high-end sort of stuff on the beta, but it's something for you guys to look at getting. Now that there's no PvP templates, stats and stat priority is actually something we need to look at again. Now, as a survival hunter, something you want to focus on is haste first, then your versatility. Then you can go crit and mastery and everything else in between. Reason being is having a higher haste rate means your focus regeneration is better, but it reduces the global cooldown and allowing us to be more fluid with our rotation. And because we've got a lot of stuff that we want to be using, we want to make sure that we can use it as often as possible. Now, with versatility, being that blanket damage increase is just too beneficial to pass up, especially with all our grenades and our pet and everything like that. I found this sort of stat weight to be quite solid when it comes to dueling and everything else. Now, as far as your Azerite pieces, I found these ones to be quite useful. Now, the big thing you want to look for is your wildness survival. This reduces the cooldown of our wildfire bomb by 1 second every time we use Mongoose Bite, because if you have taken Mongoose Bite, or Raptor Strike, I believe it changes anyway, you'll be using it quite often. This means that we can have a quicker rotation through the 3 wildfire bombs. Now, the next one being Blood Siphon, it just helps us get that mastery up a little bit because we're focusing more on our haste and versatility. Plus, it gives us a little bit more leech, which is great for our survivability overall. And Duck and Cover is awesome. It gives us a shield every time we use Feign Death. We get a shield of, say, about 18k. It is very situational depending on your eye level, but it's such an awesome thing to have in PvP. The next one, we want to go for Blur of Talons. During coordinated assault, Mongoose Bite increases your agility by 104. Now, this is situational again, depending on your gear. And your speed by 56 for 6 seconds. Stacks up to 5 times. That is absolutely awesome. This is going to be great for getting that burst damage out. Once again, another Blood Siphon, and this is whatever else you want to choose is entirely up to you. But I like to have the self-reliance, because if you can get that distance, you do get those extra heals, especially if you're just trying to kite to get your health back. And the next one here with your chest piece should be pretty much the same as the shoulder piece you've taken. So that's pretty much it for gear. The only other thing I would suggest is enchanting your rings for haste and going for the weapon enchant of, I believe it's Quick Navigation. Let's go have a look. Yeah, so the enchant weapon Quick Navigation, which increases your haste. But yeah, other than that, that's it for your gear and all the other good stuff. Let's move on. Now, before we get into the rotation and all that, let's have a look at some macros and weak auras that I use. I use weak auras and visual representations on screen because if you guys don't know, I actually only have one good eye. So I actually need help when it comes to that. So if you guys need some weak auras and whatnot, let me know and I'll be able to link all that too. So let's have a quick look at the macros. Macros are pretty simple for a survival hunter. I use one for my flare, so it actually will cast my flare at my cursor no matter where it is on the screen, simply by going at cursor. I'll link all these in the description for you as well, so don't worry about that. The next one I use for my freezing trap and tar trap. So if I hold shift, it'll also go, so holding shift will cast the freezing trap at myself, being the player, but if I let go, it'll actually allow me to cast it wherever I want. And that's also the same for my tar trap. The next one is my cancel aura macro. You can, however, put this cancel aura with your other spells too. So let's say Mongoose Bite or Serpent Sting, just in case you are in Turtle and you want to get, I don't know, if you want to say go and land a kill, you can have that ready to go above your other spells if you need to. But I just have it on the same button so I can click it once to put it up and click it again to get rid of it. The next ones here are for my Roar of Sacrifice. I have been mucking around with having Master's Call and Roar of Sacrifice on the same macro itself, but I've found that I can macro the Master's Call to its own thing and it worked out better for me, which I'll show you that in a sec. So having Roar of Sacrifice for yourself, your party 1 and your party 2 is super beneficial when you are in the arenas. This one here is for my Tracker's Net, so I can either focus, say, a healer and allow it to just cast at my focus, or without holding shift, it'll go to the target that I'm on. Great for locking down a healer if you want to go and land a quick trap. The next one is my Muzzle, so my kick. If I hold shift, so let's say I'm next to my enemy healer right here, but I'm also targeting the DPS. I can just simply hold shift, kick the healer next to me, and still maintain my target. This one here is simple. You can put your use 13, use 14, allowing you to use your trinkets if you have any on use trinkets. You can also put your, if you're an orc, you can put your racial in there as well, because they will all work together, because all of these don't interfere with the global cooldown on each other. It's not like BM Hunters with its aspect and the Bestial Wrath. For my Harpoon, I have simply, again, hold shift. I can Harpoon to my target. If my focus target, so if I want to sort of Harpoon trap and then move on. Other than that, it'll Harpoon to my current target. And this one here, I'm mucking around with having, if I hold shift, it'll target my party 1. And use Master's Call. I can have another one holding alt will be party 2, and nothing will be myself. Now that's it for my macros. I'll just quickly show you what weak auras I have. Simple weak auras I have are, I've made them so that way I can see what I have available next as far as my wildfire grenades with the wildfire infusion. So whenever the next one's available, it will come up here and show me for all 3. I simply have something here to show me when my coordinated assault is available, and this one here is to show me, you know, where I'm at with my stacks and the duration. Once again, like I said, I like having more of a visual here, just so I don't have to take my eyes off the fight, considering that I really only have one good one. But yeah, very simple. I don't really want to flood my screen with a whole bunch of weak auras, but if you guys want me to write you any specific weak auras for whatever, let me know and I'll do that for you. But yeah, now let's move on. Let's talk about the rotation. Once again, in PvP, there's no must do this, stand in this spot and shoot this and do that. It's more of a guideline on what to make sure you have on the target all times, when to use what. The basics that I've found to work well as a survival hunter is make sure you always maintain your Serpent Sting, okay? Use Serpent Sting definitely when you get the Serpent Sting proc from your Mongoose Bite. Have your Murder of Crows on the target before you use your Coordinated Assault, just so you can make sure you get that extra burst damage going. After you've used that, use your Coordinated Assault, then use your Wildfire Bombs, keeping an eye on which one you are using so you can utilize that as well. Once you have these up, so let's for example say you've got this one here, Shrapnel Bomb, which will be using your Mongoose Bite to add the bleed to it. If you've got Pheromone Bomb, then you'll be able to really utilize your kill command because it makes it instant and free of cost while the Pheromone Bomb's up. So once again, this is on the Serpent Sting on the target, having Murder of Crows on the target, use your Coordinated Assault, launch the bombs, and I've noticed that it works better if you use Mongoose Bite with Kill Command. The reason being is if you can use them together, you'll be able to keep that focus regen working much cleaner, you'll have much more to use. Plus, then you'll be able to really utilize those stacks. So, like I said, so when you want to zoom in, you drop your Serpent Sting, your Murder of Crows, use your Coordinated Assault, drop the 2 grenades, and move on and move on. So if you weave them in together, always utilizing your Serpent Sting when it has procced. As you can see, it procs quite a lot, but you get the idea. Doing so will be able to make sure that you can get the full use out of the 5 stacks of Mongoose Bite without being focus starved. But yeah, pretty much it. Rinse and repeat. Like I said, it's very situational depending on the fight. Obviously, the target is not going to stand there while you just go away and slap him down. But that's sort of an idea as to what you want to use and when you are in a PvP situation. Now, aspect of the eagle has changed, as we are aware. Now, it simply allows us to shoot eagles or birds or whatever at the target. This is actually really, really good. I've landed kills just because of this. Because now remember, even if you are getting kited, you can still use your kill command and use your Mongoose Bite from afar, still allowing you to do your rotation we just discussed. Being the grenades are ranged as well, all of this can work into your rotation. So just be mindful as to when you want to go ahead and use aspect of the eagle. Great if you know you're going to get ranged or they're going to try and kite you, you can simply switch up and become a ranged attacker. That's why I think the new style of Survival Hunter is actually pretty good, because we now have both strengths in close melee combat and range combat. Now, to end the video off, I just want to quickly go over what pets you should have when you are running survival in the arenas. I do recommend going with the Cunning family for the Master's Call ability. It is just too beneficial to pass up, being able to freedom yourself or your party members to really get yourselves out of that sticky situation. Now, on the screen, you'll see a snippet from Petopia that will outline the different pet families that will bring either the Mortal Wounds debuff, which is your healing debuff on the target. If you are, however, running with a warrior that will bring that debuff, you can then switch it out for a Tranquilize or a Dispel pet. So as you can see, the Mortal Wounds is your Hyena, Raptor, and Rodent. And for your Dispel, you can go the Moth, the Sporebat, or the Water Strider. I did put all 3 specs in if you do want to run with the other families. Anyway, I hope this guide has helped you guys out. If I've missed something or you want to add something, please let me know down in the comments. If you have any questions, let me know and I will be more than happy to help you out as best I can. But other than that, you amazing people, you keep on sniping, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take care.
It shows the way. Not looking for no heaven or gold, 'cause I got you. Don't wanna show us off, but you're my all that I need. Trying to show